My name is Schlitz from Bondage from Drogenjugend Schweifstadt. And I listen to, was war's?
Turbojugend?
Turbojugend Radio.
Turbojugend Radio, the episode number 22, the refugee episode. we actually planned on a special 2-hour podcast dealing with the political situation in Europe about the refugees trying to get into the Euroland.
Whoa, Chivesta, actually, I got the message back. Angela Merkel is coming on the show tonight.
Naked?
Yeah, well, that's only for me and you to see. But she answered back. She's gonna be on the podcast.
Well, that's cool. That's cool, but I think if we want to stick to the original plan, which is for people your age, you were actually, and this is, you guys are off the hook out there in Radio Wonderland. No, we're not talking about the issue that everybody's talking about, the refugees, which is actually a severe issue and an important issue, but no, we are talking about attention span. Max Farten, that goes in regular life, goes by the name of Kalle. I think I'm pronouncing that in Finnish, but anyway.
Kalle, that's Finnish.
Kalle. You want to keep the podcast short because you're a young person, and young listeners cannot accept anything that exceeds 20 minutes. Why is that, my slave?
Well, I think it has to do with all the videos of cats on the internet where you just want more and more and more, and you if it doesn't get to you within 10 seconds, you just click next to everything. The
next cat falling.
Yeah. and
turning and stuff.
It's the same thing with Facebook and how life works right now for young people, I guess. It's like next. Whoa, this was interesting for 20 seconds or something. It's the same thing when people I suck because I play in a band. I always say to people that you have to give everything a chance and listen to people's music or whatever, and then I do the same thing. Someone sends me a song and take a listen to this, and I like skip through the song and not listen to the whole thing. I just listen if it's somewhat okay, because
you're flooded by information.
Yeah.
You are flooded by information. When I was a young Austrian lad, the only thing I had in my boys' room was a Bible for kids. And I had to read it over and over again, dealing with Jesus and his friends. This what made the Chubesta the way he is today. The sad, boring old fart who can literally read from the Bible and tell you all sorts of phrases, but nothing else anymore. So, yeah.
But the thing is, for a podcast to be relevant and interesting enough for people to this is my idea of it anyhow. It has to be like your commute from work home or something, that time that it takes for you commute, or the time where it can't be too long because people don't think they have time to listen to anything. So, yeah, so that's why we're going to discuss this thing about attention span and try to talk about this for at least another 30 minutes so that the episode gets long enough.
Exactly. Because your iPods don't have a pause buttons as my Sony Walkman used to have. which is
The Sony Walkman, it doesn't need a pause button. You just shake your bag and it stops.
Oh yeah, right. But so since everybody on this planet is commuting to work for exactly 20 minutes, we just might as well stop right here and give you the first song of this podcast, performed by Turbo Negro in some older time. It's called The Age of Attention Span Seekers, or also called Paparias. Have fun.
Turbo Jugend update.
So Turbo Jugend Radio is on the air again, and next to me is Razorblade Tulip, who has been traveling quite a lot, actually, to get to know Hamburg and to experience the Welt Turbo Jugend for the first time. I'm guessing.
Yes, it is the first time.
Yeah. So we've met before in Eindhoven. So you have been traveling quite a long way to get to Turbo Jugend event. So maybe you can reveal where you guys are from, and then we'll get into details.
Sure. Well, it's no secret. I traveled, about 9 hours from Singapore all the way to Europe. And the first Turbo Jugend outing I had was in Speedfest last year in Eindhoven, where Turbo Negro was performing. That was during the same period of time where I was staying with Turbo Jugend Yank and Aberdeen. And this year in Hamburg, it's the first Turbo Jugend Target for my chapter, Turbo Jugend Ultra. And it's not just myself representing my chapter, but I'm also representing the Asia chapters as well.
Talking about Asia, what would be your closest chapter where you live actually in Singapore?
Also, it's a pretty interesting question because the nearest chapter to us, it's either Australia, which is 6 hours away by flight, or Tokyo, Japan, which is 4 hours away from us. So even if I were to do a Turbo Jugend meetup, I have to travel to either one of the countries.
Yeah, just picture this. If you want to meet another Jugend, you hit the plane for 4 hours or 6 hours, the minimum.
Yes, right? Precisely.
So how many members are in your Jugend?
Well, so far it's just myself, because Turbo Jugend Ultra started only late last year. So we've been around for just say 8 months. And as it is, I'm the president of my own chapter, and I have 2 guys under me. But they've not gotten a kuta because they have to prove their worth, to earn the jacket.
So how long do you? Will you make them do in order to be on your Jugend?
Well, the most important thing is that they are fans of Turbo Negro, because that's what the Turbo Jugend is all about. And to me, that's the most essential prerequisite to join the Turbo Jugend. And it's pretty easy for me because if you're a fan of the band, and if you're always going for shows and you spend time and understand what the Turbo Jugend is all about and do your research, then I'm more than happy to induct you into my chapter. But of course, once you get your kuta, you have to uphold the kuta respect, because it's not something you get that easily. It takes lots of dedication, it takes lots of hard work, and you have to wear your kuta everywhere to represent your chapter. And especially in a climate like Singapore, you're talking about 33, 35 degrees during the day. It's really hot. And if you go for local shows, it gets even steamier.
We were used to that in Hamburg. At least the last 2 years, yeah. The temperature at the shows was way above 100 Fahrenheit and Celsius, north of 40 inside. So, but you seem to be used to it, because even though you live in a climate with where it's very hot and humid, you still have your sleeves on your jacket.
Yes, precisely.
So that's you can take the heat, so to say.
But I have to take the heat, because that's what Turbo Jugend is all about. You gotta roll with the punches. You're gonna withstand whatever that comes in your way. And to me, what's the heat to me? I'm used to it for 20 to 21 years being in Singapore. So having my sleeves on, I don't mind at all. I could disleave it, but I prefer having a full-on regalia.
Yes.
Honestly. And it also allows me, with my kuta, is that it can get rather stuffy sometimes, but it gives me pride to have my chapter being placed on the back of a kuta, and some of the chapters that I met along the way, to have their patches being emblazoned on it. Oh. And people, when they see the kuta, they get curious to know, what's the Turbo Jugend all about? And I don't mind, stopping for a bit and talk to them.
I was just about to ask you, how's the reaction of as a Turbo Jugend in Singapore? Because I don't know about punk rock and music scene in Singapore. Yeah. Maybe we can get into details later. But what is the reaction? Are the people shocked, or are they interested? What do they associate Turbo Jugend with?
I'll say there'll be this curiosity first, because say, Turbo Jugend, what's it all about? Because normally when you go to a rock rock, metal, or punk show, it's always about, oh, I just wear a leather jacket and I put like band patches. So when you see some guy, who's like a metalhead going to their shows wearing a kuta and this place like Tuba Yugen, they're like, well, what is this? What is this Tuba Yugen all about? There are a few people who get it. They say, oh yeah, I heard about the Tuba Yugen. I'm surprised to see like such, there's a chapter that actually exists in Singapore, much less Asia. And there are a few who are also fans of the band, but they do not know about the Tuba Yugen movement.
They know about the band, but
they
not
know
about
the band,
the Yugen.
but not about the movement. So to them, when I tell them that it's basically a fan club for the band Tuba Negro, and they go, oh, okay, that's really interesting. I didn't know that Tuba Negro had such a huge following. And I showed them photos from my trips, like last year's Pitfest. I showed them what happened. And when I get back to Singapore, with photos from Red Tuba Yugen Targa, it gives them the opportunity to understand what the Tuba Yugen movement is all about. It's not just putting on your kuta. It's about meeting people from other chapters, understand what their chapters are all about, and of course, the love for Tuba Negro itself. I mean, like this year, Tuba Negro is not performing, but yet you see people coming in numbers. It's like a reunion party of sorts, Like you meet people that you've not seen for quite some time, and you meet new people along the way. And the reaction I've been getting so far has been rather positive, because again, like people in Singapore, they're curious to know why is there like a Tuba Yugen in Singapore, what's it all about? And then we tell them, and they go, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. Like, how do you find out the band? And then you tell them like how, like for myself, I discovered Tuba Negro by reading magazines like Kerrang, and I saw the band Tuba Negro, and my curiosity got the better of me, and I started listening to Tuba Negro first, and then found out about the Tuba Yugen about 1 or 2 years later. It's a bit of a gap in between, but I'm glad there's a good progress along the way, and it's a huge payoff because now I'm right here in Hamburg, partying with my fellow brothers and sisters for the band that I love so much.
So, if you describe the music scene in Singapore, how would you? Is there much of a metal punk rock scene in Singapore?
Actually, there is, but I mean, in contrast to Europe or America, the punk metal rock scene does not get much exposure as they actually deserve. They actually are talented musicians. There are people who are passionate about what they do, and initially, I feel disheartened thinking, why isn't there support given to my scene? Because I've been going for shows, I've been going for gigs for so many years, but these bands never get the recognition that they deserve.
Is it a political thing? Is there politics involved in that? Why they don't want punk rock or that music spread?
I wouldn't say it's political in that sense, but it's more about upholding the pristine image of what Singapore should be. They want to show Singapore as a nice city with plastic buildings, with plastic people.
Plastic people?
Yeah. People who look well-mannered, well-dressed, have normal routine lives. But they don't get to see the other side of what Singapore is all about, We have local shows being done in small hole-in-the-wall places. And these guys, yes, we do drink, we do smoke. I'll give it to them. But we always look out for each other, And that's the camaraderie that we have. And it's the same with the Tuba Yugen as well, like we look out for each other, If anything happens to us, there's always somebody, it could be from another chapter that will always ensure that you're safe. So I guess like, in a way, the Singapore music scene and the Tuba Yugen are very similar in a way. And I'm glad that I'm able to bring both, like the best of both worlds into my chapter.
If you want to deal with the homosexual aspect of it, of Tuba Yugen and the gay stuff, would that be a problem society-wise?
Well, in a way, yes. That I would say, Singapore still has its reservations. It's pretty much a conservative society, but on the other hand, we are not as bad as Malaysia or Indonesia, because they are the Islamic states, so they are pretty harsh on such activities. Singapore's pretty okay, as long as it's not being shown outwardly. It's a mindset that needs to be changed, granted, but I guess it's the old school mentality that everything has to be pristine. But with the younger generation, they are more open, they're more understanding towards the whole homosexual aspect. I mean, I have a few people asking me whether are you straight or anything. I said I don't care. If I have to kiss a guy, I'll kiss a guy, because it's all about love. And that's what the music's all about, No restrictions, no boundaries. As long as you are going out there and have a good time, that's all that matters. I mean, even if someone tells me that, oh, I'm homosexual, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You wanna kiss me? Go ahead. I don't give two shits.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, in a way, like, the whole Turbojugend movement allows me to open up my mind and see things in another light. Because being in a country where, you're being fed ideas that, you have to be in a stereotypical
ideas.
relationship. And I guess, like, as a teenager, I just rebel against the whole notion, like, I think this is bullshit. And the Turbojugend, in a way, taught me that, there's nothing wrong with, being with a guy or a girl being with a girl, if you guys love each other and you guys have fun. It's all cool.
So yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. I mean, you've been traveling all over the world. I hope you have a real great time here in Hamburg, and I wish you all the best for your chapter.
Sure.
They made it 2 guys, be good guys. To join your camp.
Well, they still have to work. One of the prerequisites is actually for them to outdrink me. So if I get drunk before them, they have a good chance of being the chapter full time.
All right, I thank you very much, and
Sure.
have all the best to you. Let's keep me up to date with that Jugend, and let's spread the denim love all over Asia.
Definitely.
Thank you, Razorblade Tulip. Thank you, Singapore. Thank you for growing and establishing Turbojugend in that far out country of Singapore. We need that. And as we heard,
the world needs more Singahores.
The world needs more single horse, and as we also heard, there is a Turbojugend in Cuba. So if the guy from Cuba is doing his serving his duty and listening to Turbojugend radio, here you go. We want you on the air. I'll contact you. So there's a Turbojugend in Cuba working against the regime with us. So that's a good thing. And another good thing is that what Kalle did before, live on the radio, he went on a website called Facebook and asked the audience, the world out there, to post questions. And there 3 came in, and I'm just gladly inviting you, Max Farten, to read them off.
Yeah, okay. We got the first one, fast comment from Marcus Dieventhaler. It reads like this: why doesn't Chibessa age? What's the secret of this eternal Jugend? So Chibessa, please.
I can answer that. Well, he has not seen me bend over backwards. Because if you look at me backwards when I bend over, it's not a pretty sight anymore. You cannot distinguish the hanging ass from the balls and the penis. Nothing. So I do age, but as far as my face is concerned, my beautiful face, the real secret is that I'm putting up a shitload of makeup every time he sees me, and he would never know. You can really tell my age, really. And apart from that, I drink a whole glass of horse sperm every morning.
All right. So that's a great tip for you guys. Don't show your ass if you're getting old, and just show your face. Sounds like real life, actually.
Sounds super cool. And drink horse sperm in the morning. That helps. Another question we got from Jack Tiedemann. Probably a German. Jakob Tiedemann.
No, he's a Swede. He's from Turbojugend Satan's finest, Gothenburg.
Ooh. The Gothenburg Jugend asks, why does Astra, the beer, make you pee from the anus?
I think this has to do with the Swedish stomachs, because I've heard that the German people don't get a bad stomach from Astra. I don't know if this legend is true, but most Swedes prefer some other beer than Astra, because
what is the most famous beer?
The best German beer for a Swede would be Flensburger. because Flens in Swedish is dick cheese. So when they do the commercial that says 125 years of Flens, we laugh and say we don't want to suck that dick.
It's really wow. I didn't know that.
But well, I can tell Jack that I have no idea why Astra make you pee from the anus, but I'm just 100%, 110% even sure that it does, because I fucking bleed after Hamburg from drinking Astra.
It might not be Astra. It might be the stranger's cock up your rear that you don't even
No,
notice.
we blame
you drunk
that on
bastard.
Astra.
Oh, okay.
That's how we get it along.
Okay.
We should actually get someone from Turbigen Tannheim on for the next question, but can you try to answer the question, can you die from a glitter overdose?
Well, I have never done. I am getting all my glitter from Mark the Dark, usually, who's a die-hard glitter fan. And I can only imagine, it's like in this old James Bond movie, if you put it really all over your body, it might kill you. But since there's always a cock inside your anus, there's always air for your body to breathe.
Oh, I think she was Swedish, the girl who died from the gold painting in.
Yeah, she did not leave the anus out.
No. It's important with anal sex if you want to be fully covered in glitter. That's the answer to the question.
Alright. So that worked well. We are smartasses. We can answer any question that they'll shoot at us. But yeah. That's a good start. We'll do that next episode as well.
I'm just gonna answer the last one from Bene Vol. I think the guy who was taking a lot of photos in Hamburg. He asked how many beers can you drink, and I'm gonna answer him just as many beers as you can take photographies during the Weltrubigentage. So around 2,000.
Ooh, you're that tough. That's an open challenge to everybody out there, I would suppose.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of free beers, if it's a challenge.
Oh, there's another question coming in. It's called, who can send some corn to Stockholm? Corn is a schnapps, and I want Faku. Fanta corn, that is. So everybody out there from Germany, send this Niklas Tonfeld some Fanta corn, you freaks out there. He's on the internet, you can reach him, send him some corn, please. Then he's all set. And then he's peeing real caca from his ass, not Astra pee. How's he supposed to? Alright, my dear. So that was that. That was a sort of short. I got you longer than near 20 minutes. Eventually, but we can finish up this episode properly, my dear audio slave, as we are serving up another cream puff.
Yeah, and this time we're getting the Bengal on the cream puff because he's been absent for 2 episodes, and we know you want him back.
Yeah, I got tons of mail, like 14 kilos or 7.5 pounds. No, fuck, I'm stupid. 28 pounds of letters from Russian single housewives who want to hear the Bengal. Let's get him on, huh?
Yeah, let's get him on.
Cream Puff, presented by Bengal.
There are only a few living legends that still play music that is considered to be 100% rock and roll, even as an old man. So when I heard that the 60-year-old frontman and his band pulled out a new album, I instantly bought it without pre-listening to it. I thought to myself, it has to be great, and maybe it's their last album. The album, All Black, includes 13 songs. Some song titles are Victoria Die, Firestorm Hotel, The Devil, Evil Eye, teach them how to bleed, tell me who to kill. And I picked out song number 4 for you. Shoot out all of your lights. But all of the songs are great. If you read through the lyrics, you realize one thing immediately. They all have a lot of text. Not bad for an old man to remember all those lyrics. By the way, last year I visited my dear friends of Tuba-Jugend LA and went with them to a concert of this band. During the show, the band left the stage and the lights were shut off. Out of the darkness came a curly guy with a top hat and played 3 songs with them. It was no one other than Slash, and the crowd went insane. After 2 songs, the old man said, "Listen, don't be nervous. We are Motorhead, and we play rock and roll."